30, 8:30 on a Thursday night. Um, no place I'd rather be right now than on here talking to Matt, Cory, and Craig Metric. Metric? Is that
Hey,
how I say it?
enough.
Close enough. I'm going to give a quick shout out to my monthly sponsor, Little Gallery of Big Mess. Has got a big show coming up: poetry, music, art. Bulldog Event Center, March 28th. Run its course is playing there. Fox and Sound, Chucky and the Cheapskates, and the Murder Birds. Absolutely stacked lineup. Um, if you don't have plans on it, you get down to the Bulldog. It's gonna be a great night. Like I said, music, poetry, art, everything's going on there. Mark and Chuck doing some great things out there in our community. Also, quick shout out to my, it's so weird to say it, yearly sponsor, CDL Architecture. Um, Guys, once again, thank you. I will say it every show. Thank you for the yearly support, keeping the show rolling. If you are in the trades looking to get in some work, contact CDL. They're looking for new blood. Everyone's always looking for new blood. Give them a shout. Get in there. Let's get to the task at hand here. We're 8:35. Returning guests, and one that I'm always so excited for. We just had our own segment off the air that we should have waited for, and it was so good, but we can't recreate it now. Matt, Cory, you're in the house here.
Hey, man, it's great
Welcome back.
here. Thank you for having us on. It's great to be here, man. Dude, I love what you're doing. I love to see
Ah,
how much you guys have grown in the last year. I think it's freaking excellent, man. And I also saw that you're kind of bridging the gap between Winnipeg and Westman, too. That's something that's
oh yeah,
it's
man, Brandon's so cool. I grew up in McGregor. I was already halfway.
yeah, yeah, right?
So what
No,
do you want, right? Yeah, it's small things, and it's been a big week. I mean, there's a lot more to come, but it's been a big week. There's a lot going on. I got feet on the ground in Brandon now with a certain person who you may know. We'll just call her KR Magnolia. She is part of the Pegcity team. She's doing great things. She's got some a couple great shows coming to Brandon. She's doing good things out there, and we're ready to put Brandon on the map for bands coming from Winnipeg going out there. I know it's happened, but we really want to push it and show how great it is. I mean, the 40 is a great venue. Had some great times at Eastside Hall there. We just want to really bridge that. So Maestro Music reached out this week and said, "Hey, what if I start airing episodes? Should have already happened. What if I start airing episodes for you once a week?" So tonight should have been the episode with Sid. Next week will be this episode premiering out there. Yeah, trying to bridge it between Winnipeg and Westman right now. Such a cool thing, man.
yeah, man, absolutely.
Brandon kicks ass.
It's one of these things, man, where like, and I've said this lots of times, man, playing music and being sort of in a scene, it's all about spreading the love and being in this together, right? And I talk
Yeah,
about this all the time, right? But like, whether you're promoting, your own stuff or somebody else's stuff or sharing stuff on social media or even liking or commenting on posts, right? All of that stuff goes such a long way, man. And to see what you're doing by trying to bring the two together, the Loud Music Awards was doing that as well, and it's just great to see kind of these two sort of cities come together. I think it's great. I hope it's I'm excited to see where things go.
absolutely. I gotta say something before we really get going. March 12th, 12:13 p.m. to be exact. A friend who I met this year messaged me, and this quote has just like been jammed in my head for days now. And he said, and this applies to our music scene, our Manitoba music scene. A high tide raises all ships.
Yep.
And I take it right to the music scene here. Everyone, let's keep sharing, let's keep doing what we're doing, let's support each other, and everyone's a winner in the end of that, right? I mean, there's a lot of festivals coming up. There's a lot of overlapping shows right now, but we can't be uh can't be competitive about it, right? The
Oh,
more the people are doing things, the better this is getting for everyone. So anyway,
100%.
I love it.
One of the things that's always made me laugh about this is that, I think back to when I was a teenager, right? And I was really into like hair metal and stuff, right? And I would read all the stories about whatever Motley Crue or Poison or Rat or whatever, right? And you always heard that I am the greatest. We are going to slaughter every band, and we're going to be the greatest band in the world. And, da, 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 da. And like when I was a teenager, you get this idea that it's a competition, and I mean that's like poison. You know what I mean? Like you're what can you possibly gain out of being ultra competitive with everybody that you work with, right? Like,
Yeah.
and like I don't know, I think it's just silly to view things that way. I mean, if you're part of a scene, I mean, it's a beautiful thing. Why would you want to compete against everybody? You never know when you might need some help from somebody, right? Better to be on everybody else's side than be against everyone.
Exactly, right? It's yeah, no, it's just a wonderful thing what is going on here. And there's some announcements that have happened. We got a big year coming up for Manitoba. Um and just music in general, right? It's just a thing of beauty right now. And speaking of things of beauty and all these big things happening, tell me about your new lineup.
Yeah, well, so yeah, this will be one of the of several lineups that we've had, and this lineup I can say is probably the strongest group of musicians I have ever played with. Now, I hope this doesn't sound bad, but there was a point in one of the lineups that I had in the past where you know, I was sort of like like the most skilled guy, and I don't mean that to be like, yeah, I'm so good and all this stuff. That's not the point. What the point is that in the band now, I'm actually the worst musician, and that's what I want. I want to be with guys that are going to constantly kick my ass every time we play. Like that guy,
Yeah.
my an absolute blast, just from the having like the joke I make about this is like, okay, no substance abuse issues, no psychotic ex-girlfriends, no ego, no self-serving sort of ideas of what this should be, like Craig's got this view very much like me, where it's like, let's just serve the music, let's make the music the best we can be now, or the best it can be. Now, with the other two guys that we have, Wes Lipischek is playing guitars and keyboards and backing vocals. Now, Wes and I have played together for years in various projects. We had our acoustic trio called Vertigo that we did for a while, where he was playing keys, uh, and he actually works with me on every single song that I've actually probably ever released under my own name, and I always run it through him. The joke I make is he is my Bob Ezrin. He's the guy with the music theory and the very schooled, sort of disciplined approach to the music, whereas with me, I'm a little more spontaneous, I guess. And it's funny because he'll go through these tracks with me and he'll call me out on stuff. And Wes and I work together so well where we can do that. And we understand that once again, it's about the music. It's not about serving somebody's low self esteem or whatever, right? It's about making the music the best it can be. So when we brought Wes into the fold, Wes was a perfect fit because he's already worked on everything. So he already knows songs to a certain extent. That
Yeah.
dude is so talented, man. He's got perfect pitch, right? So like the joke that we make is that he can tell you what key your microwave is humming to when you're making a bag of popcorn. That's how good he is. And he can play anything, and he's a really good dude on top of it all, right? So,
It all works.
bringing him into the fold has been great. And Wes and I, like, we understand each other. We come from totally different schools of thought. But what did Rocky say in one of the movies? "Oh, we filled the gaps, That's that's how Wes and I kind of work together.
Yeah.
So Tim Holm is the bass player. Now, Tim took over for Ian, and Ian had been with me since the very beginning of the whole band, and Ian he just wanted to go out and do something different. And so Tim had actually filled in for a gig or two last summer, and we worked really well with him. He's got great stage presence, and he's the bass player, but he's also an absolute beast piano player. Where he went through the Royal Conservatory, and he's got his like level 9 piano, which is like up near the top sort of thing,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
up. I can't remember off the top of my head, but so yeah, with these guys, this is the best band that I've ever had the pleasure of playing with, and we're all on the same page. Everybody understands what sort of the goal is here, right? And it's to play at a really high level and do it at a professional level as well. No more, getting drunk on stage and like, escaping from the week's crap, on the weekend.
Yeah.
This is a job, right? And I mean, there's work to be done, and this group, and tell me if I'm wrong about this, but like, you to make the best possible music we can, and the future looks incredibly bright. So I'm really, really, really excited about this lineup.
That's amazing. Future does is bright, and speaking of that, Spark in the Sky. What a song. My God. You know, Matt, you've always put out great songs. This one's on another level, and I talked to you about it, and you told me, and we have this one thing in common. We both love Filter. Um, and you said it's very take a picture to you, and then I listened to it. I said, yeah, I get it, but it's also very drift and die.
Yes, that's right.
Puddle of mud, right? And I was like, oh man, we're here. We know what we're here. We're hearing similar things here. And I absolutely love it. Uh, run me through this. When did you write it? How did the whole process go on this?
So, what's really interesting about Spark in the Sky is that I wanted to, like, yeah, okay, I love Filter, man. That was the first tattoo I ever got. Was
Yeah,
I don't know, hard to see. Yeah, where is it?
somewhere on there. There
Filter.
it is.
Yeah, and for me, I have performed Take a Picture countless times, man, acoustically, electrically. I love playing it because it's really hard to sing. And every time I look down at my tattoo, I go, I better not fuck this up.
Yeah.
So I wanted to take a stab at writing a song like Take a Picture. So basically, what I wanted to do was write something that uses what I call filter chords, which is a lot of add 9 chords,
Hmm.
um, uh, and make something that was kind of melodic, somewhat on the commercial side, and anthemic at the same time. And that song, it honestly, man, it came together in probably less than a day. Like when I started writing the demo originally, actually, to be honest, I wrote half of the Hollow Sun album in the course of probably 2 days or 3 days, maybe.
Oh
And
wow.
yeah, it was just pouring out of me, and that was one of the songs that just so happened to come out. In terms of the actual like lyrical content of the song, this was a song that I wrote in a period of my life where everything was changing, and it was not change that I had asked for. I had had a few family tragedies in my life. At the time, the lineup that I had previously was falling apart. Almost everybody in that band was either there were people quitting or they just it was just bad. And I remember like one morning waking up and like as the song says, woke up staring at the ceiling, don't know how I got this far. It was me waking up going, what is going on in my life? My like I said, these family tragedies had happened. My band is starting to fall apart. I'm kind of at an all-time low at this point. And then I started questioning, like, how did this happen? Did I run too fast or too high? And now I'm searching for the spark in the sky. Like it's like, come on, like help me out here, man. It's hard, and I don't know where it's gonna go from here. and yeah, so the lyrics again, like it all came very quickly. I'll tell you, Joel, one of the things that I've started doing, especially with lyrics, is that like I will sit down and write them in one sitting, and that is like the point, because music to me should be about capturing a moment, right? And
Hmm. Hmm.
album, it is all about capturing moments. Every song in there is sort of a moment kind of thing in time. I have a horrible memory, but if you play, tell you what I ate for breakfast that day, kind of thing. But I will mention though too, man, the thing that elevated the track from where it started was what Craig contributed to that song. All these different percussion elements that are there, the groove in that song. Holy man, dude! Like it sounds friggin' great. The drums really come alive in that song, and really
Hmm.
what it is.
Yeah, that's awesome. Craig, you're sitting back there looking all pretty right now. Let's get some words out of you here. Tell me about tell me, I haven't really gone to you yet. Tell me about working with Matt and everything that's going on there and the new songs.
Yeah, no, it's been great. Matt's the kind of guy. He's got a lot of motivation. I've only met a few people in my life that have that motivation and drive to kind of to I don't know do music lots, and lots of people do it for a season, and then it's maybe like taper off or something like that. But Matt's like go 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 go, and yeah, so it's been neat to have that work with someone with that motivation. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what you're used to for drummers. I mean, I don't. Growing up, I wasn't into like Ozzy, or I wasn't into all these artists that Matt was into. I knew of them, I listened to them, but they weren't like my faves. So I was more into the funk, uh, alternative, even symphony to electronic. So um, yeah, so maybe I might bring something. We were writing something a little bit different, some different groove, some different tension and release that wouldn't normally be there, but it works. So it's yeah, why not? But
Well, that's awesome.
yeah,
Yeah, no, you're right. He's Matt, you've always been very motivated with things as long as I've known you, and I've really seen no pun intended, but a real spark with you in
Man,
in the last year for sure.
at the end of the day, man, this is my entire life. Like what what's kind of happened in my world anyway is that man, I went to business school. I did the diploma. I got the degree. I never went to music school. I worked in a music store for a decade. Then I decided to do something different and got a marketing job. And then I realized that just wasn't really my cup of tea. I went back to teaching music and decided to jump in like head first. And you know, I was talking to a student about this the other day. How like literally, man, all I do is music. Like that's it. Like I don't do anything else. I don't watch sports. I don't know. Like I don't do anything else. This is my entire life, man. And like if I couldn't do this, I'd probably be dead. Honestly.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, man. It's so like for me, and like from the Loud Music Awards and stuff, that sort of gave me a little bit of credibility to pursue music as my mostly full-time job, teaching and playing shows and everything else. So that it's been so nice to see sort of a progression of things, you know, doors sort of opening up, right? And
Hmm.
got to work really hard to make those things happen. And I mean, this stuff to me doesn't necessarily feel like work compared to what a real job feels like.
uh Man, you're living a dream right now. Uh just doing music. I mean, it's so cool to see you have so many posts you put out there with students you've had, and you seem so proud of what they've accomplished, learning from you as well, right?
100%, man. I took lessons from a guy named Nathan Lay, and what Nathan had taught me. Nathan was such an interesting dude because he was a classical guitar player, but his favorite genre of music was blues. And
Mm.
so he came from these two completely different schools of thought. He was a terrific classical player, but he loved jamming like whatever Clapton and stuff too. So when we used to get together and have lessons, he would basically just turn on 18 in Life by Skid Row from or Mary Jane's Last Dance by Tom Petty, and he would say, "Hey, go solo, just play." Right. So I take a lot of what he taught me and I apply it to my lessons because man, the thing that I tell people when they want to come in for lessons is I say like literally my goal is for you to come sit down in my basement studio and say, "No, Matt, you dumbass, this is how you know that like they're succeeding because man like all I want to do is just watch somebody that I taught you know like take off whether they're playing shows by themselves or writing or recording or releasing music. I just again it goes back to what I said kind of at the beginning, man. It's just about sharing the love, man, and just making sure that I can give everybody everything that I have, as far as knowledge or mindset or philosophy or whatever. And hopefully that will, here's that pun again, light a spark in them. And
Yeah.
they will create their own stuff and blow us off the stage. Like, that's literally what I want, man. There's so many good musicians all over the place, man. And the worst thing that could possibly happen is when you see somebody who quits, who gives up, you
Hmm.
know, talk about like the emotional release that you can get from playing music, man. And I'm one of those dudes, man. I'm into all the spacey, wishy-washy shit. I love all that.
Amazing. I want to just throw to the comments for a second. There's that KR Magnolia. I heard you're an amazing guitar teacher as well. Thomas Henry, my other team member here. Amazing to see how far you've come, Matt. Since I saw you perform at Rock in the Fields Battle of the Bands, I'm excited to hear more new tunes.
Oh yeah,
Right on.
big Cory.
Trav and Chris say hi. Terry Ferguson, Cartoony7 says hi. Yeah. What a what a lineup in there. Um
Thanks
speaking
for
of
guys. Thank you.
speaking of Rock in the Fields, you're going back.
We are going to be there on the Friday nights, and we don't have too many details yet in terms of how long we're going to be playing or set times or anything like that. But we are so stoked to be there, man. RFM is such a great time. I tell everybody to go to that. I went to RFM for 19 years in a row. And it was so much fun, man. I have so many good memories and so many not memories of being
Yeah.
there. No, but it is such a good time, and they have a great lineup this year, man.
Hmm.
Riot, Smash Mouth, Collective Soul, what 5440. Like
Yeah.
it's great to see that they're bringing in some newer like bands that haven't played there like a million times,
Yeah.
and it's great to see that they are supporting Manitoba music, and we couldn't be more happy to be there, man. Some of my favorite memories of playing music have been at RFM, and it'll be great to be there in having our own slots, kind of under the sort of the Matt Cory name, because I've played that festival multiple times, and man, some of my favorite gigs have been there, so we're really looking forward to it. We are going to give it our absolute best. And like, oh man, the rehearsals that we are gonna have. Oh, it's gonna be
it's it's so cool to see the local talent on that stage, right? And I know when I was younger, I know my brothers used to go there quite a bit. Like I remember them going out there at like it's gone through name change stuff, right? But I remember like Def Leppard being out there one year and they went out there. Now you're hearing about the local bands. I mean, Car 287's there Saturday, I believe. Playing
yes.
Saturday. But yeah, it's so cool to see just the local talent yourself, Um we need more of that. We like it's just ridiculous how many talented bands are in Manitoba. Um, and it's awesome to bring in bands like 5440 Collective Soul. It's I mean, Smash Mouth. I don't think anyone would have predicted that one, but
No,
they're coming in. I think they got a new vocalist because I believe their vocalist passed, but it's awesome bringing bands like that, but it's also great to stage these local bands that should respectfully be on the same stage with these bands. I mean, I've heard in the past of local bands going there and kind of outshining the others. So it's just great.
man, I'll tell you a story about that. There was a year, I don't remember what year it was. They all blend in together, but I remember seeing Barry G. Player there as a power trio, and I was completely blown away. And then I Winnipeg guy after that. And I actually I used to have this. Well, I still have it somewhere, but I had a white Coors Light shirt that I caught in the crowd,
Yeah.
and a whole bunch of it, right? Like all these different bands and stuff, like Lee Aaron or Loverboy or Nazareth or whatever. They'd all sign the shirt, and I remember Barry G. Like he signed it, and I was just like, dude, like you're unreal. Like where are you going next? And he's like, back home to Winnipeg, and it was like, what? Like a national touring guy at the time.
Yeah,
There are so many great bands, man, and I feel that the ones that choose to work hard and put the work and the effort and the discipline into their craft, into their show, into their music, into their image, they should absolutely be given an opportunity to be playing at festivals like RFM or Country Fest or whatever, right? Like you name it. We're just really grateful that we've been given that opportunity. But now it's time to roll our socks up and get to work, and make sure
yeah.
that this is a pro level show and all of us are giving it 110%.
Craig, have you played out there before?
No, I haven't actually.
Ah,
This is all new for me.
right on.
Yeah.
Sounds like a great time. Any other shows you want to talk about? Do you have anything else coming up you can spill beans on?
Secrets, but
Yeah, we're kind of we're yeah. I don't know. Let's be hardcore and call it the negotiating stage.
Yeah, there we go.
Negotiating.
Exactly, eh?
We've been in touch with a number of different festivals and stuff, and we're hoping to get onto a few of those. We've also, the cool thing with this lineup actually is that, we actually have an acoustic show lined up in Brandon next month at the Dock, which is a really fun place to play. We have a good time there. I always end up really wobbly every time I leave that place. I don't know why, but but the cool thing is that this band, we can go from doing the big electric heavy shows or whatever you'd like to call it, and then we can turn around and do all the acoustic stuff too. So that's going to open up way more doors for us, in terms of and everything too. So, right now, like there's a lot that are like up in the air, but not very many that have been announced just yet.
Gotcha.
Got to sign the contract,
Yeah, exactly, right?
Yeah.
Here's something I want to talk to you. Something that happened. I believe it was last week. It happened. Tell me about this lovely gift your wonderful lady friend gave you.
I've probably told this story like 50 times, and I'll tell it another 50 times. So yeah, man, what happened was I received a cameo video from the lead guitarist of King Crimson, Robert. Now, Robert Fripp, to me, has been, I've been telling everyone, I call him the Darth Vader of music, because up until maybe a decade ago-ish, he was incredibly mysterious, super intimidating, super serious, and a lot of people kind of like gave him such a bad rap all the time, like as being a dick. So I wanted to know, okay, like, is this guy actually a jerk? Like, what's the deal with this dude? So I started watching interviews with him just on YouTube one night, And as soon as I started watching this stuff, I was like, hey, man, this guy's not a dick. He's just really, really, really smart. And, it off as arrogance or whatever. But like, I, to me, I totally like saw where he was coming from. And then I've tried to get into King Crimson 3 separate times, man, and it's hard music to get into. But once you drink the Kool-Aid, dude,
Yeah.
all you want to listen to, right? So I have been obsessed with King Crimson for quite a while, and it's just every time I listen to them, I hear something new in their music. So anyway, um, for this was kind of a late birthday present, and Beth got me this video from Robert Fripp, and I'm just like, what? Like now, the cool thing is with this video, and I shared it on social media, and some of the really interesting things about that video, and I didn't know this, is that right off the bat, hey, Matt, Robert Fripp here, blah, blah, blah. And he turns on my song, Die on This Hill. And he's playing it. And I'm watching him listen to my song. And keep in mind, this is the Darth Vader of music. One of the leading guys ever. And he's sitting there, like, kind of bobbing his head a little bit. And he's got this kind of, he's an old guy, right? He's got this kind of old man grin going. And I'm like, oh, no. Like, and all I'm thinking, I was like, oh man, Beth sent him my song. She told me like a few days ago that she didn't send me the song. I don't even think I told you this yet. Yeah, no, Fripp actually went and found like Matt Cory on Spotify or wherever, and he listened to the song himself. Which is crazy. I'm like, what? Yeah, right. And so, as the video goes on, he, and you can take this a few different ways, and I'm going to take this in a very positive light because why not? He said in that video, he said, suppose I give you some advice, and then he kind of stops for a minute, and then he says something along the lines of, Matt, what could I possibly tell you that you don't already know?
Mm.
And that's coming from Robert Fripp. Like that's the best I've ever got in my entire life, man. Like that, I don't think there's anything that could top that. And so I'm just starstruck by this entire experience. And then at the end, where he mentions my girlfriend Beth and how much she loves me and all this stuff, and like what a great dude. It was so just mind blowing to see that has even happened at all. And there's one other section of this where he does give a piece of advice, and I'll try to mention it. Like I'm paraphrasing, but I'll try to make it as accurate to what he said as possible. He said, any creative work goes against gravity. Any positive that you might have, there is a negative that will rise up to meet it. And what's really important is the thing that comes in between that makes the impossible possible. Now, and then he says, but you know that already. And I'm like, yeah. And, I've been thinking about that quote for a few days. And tell me what you think of this, Joel, because, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. My point of view on that is when you have the positives, those are the outcomes. That's the finished song on streaming. That's the ability to play that guitar solo that you've always wanted. That's playing a really good show, right? But there's always a negative that rises to meet it. And the way I perceive that is that the negatives represent the risks and the sacrifices that you made to make those positive things happen. Now, the in between is, and this, to quote an album title of King Crimson, is the in between is the power to believe that you can do it. And that again, that's one of the reasons why I love Fripp so much, is that he's a genius, right? And he's very good how he thinks and how he plays and how he approaches music. So yeah, man, it is. I've been floating on a cloud since that video came in, and it's injected me with a whole new drive that I didn't think I even had, especially to take risks. Playing music that isn't necessarily, uh, what you would expect. On this new album, we've got 3 instrumental tracks, and I'm this close to releasing one of them as a single.
Mm.
Because, like, whatever, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But
Ronnie Laderick, I don't know if he's been watching all the time, but I know he just tuned in here. He says, Matt, you are the man. Respect my guitar, brother.
hey, Ron, great to hear from you, bro.
Ronnie.
Let's do this
Ronnie, if
together,
if you
man.
missed it,
Come
if
on.
you missed it, Ronnie, after roll it back and listen to the Robert Fripp story. You might like that one. Um, yeah, I think you're right with how you take that, and you know you're thinking on it. I think you're correct. I think it can go a couple ways too. Especially in today's world with social media, and you can build yourself up, you can support yourself so much, but you're going to have a lot of negativity coming into it. And I'm only doing the social media thing because you see it all too often, and it's more alive now than it ever has been. Negativity that can follow your success, right?
Oh, 100%.
um and you see it too much. I won't touch on too much because I never get political on here, but there's I did see a couple things today, and it really made me think, like, it's a crazy world right now. There was a certain place that posted today, and it said something about, if you were supporting this political party, would you date someone supporting this political party? And it got so ugly so fast. I was just like, holy crap. Like, I don't remember this like 5 years ago. Unless, I don't know. It got ugly fast, and it actually opened my eyes today a lot when I saw that. And I'm like I've said this many times, and here's about as political as we'll get, about as serious as we'll get tonight. Um I have said many times, you could post all your successes. You could post, and this is no disrespect to you. I'm just going to use you as an example. You could post "Spark the Sky," your new song. You could post that and how proud you are of it. But if you went and posted something political, you may get more reaction, comments out of it, right?
Oh, yeah,
And
absolutely.
it's, yeah, like I see it like so much, and
Maybe
I
that's
don't know
the
who's watching this right now, but I have so many people add me. And I think it's because my picture of my personal page is just me with a guitar, right? And I do it too, where I say, oh, there's someone cool. Let's check them out. I click, oh, there's a guitarist for them. Cool. Let's add them. Connections, right?
Yeah.
Connections. But I noticed recently I've had a lot of political things going on, and the amount of comments and like likes and hearts and mad faces, and it's like, wow.
Yeah.
And I think I just, when you said that quote there, I'm more on your side, how you can take it. But it just, in the last couple of weeks, I've just been like, my God, there's a lot of negativity out there. But you know what? It's guys like you that are keeping things positive. There's people in the chat here. I mean, Ronnie, Terry Ferguson, what a monster of a promoter. Like, he's got that Rocket Revolution thing going on, just push and push and push it. And this goes to everyone in this chat as well. Like Chris and Trav, I mean, they're doing so many good things. I mean, their logo's up above you right now, Craig, if you can see it. Their logo's embedded in there. I love it. It's so great to see the positivity of things, and I can tell by your excitement talking about the Robert Fripp story. I had to talk to you about it tonight. What a cool thing, though.
It's sweet, man. It's interesting about the political thing. Now, I'm just speaking for me. Whatever, do as you.
Yeah.
I don't care. It's all good. But like my thing is, when I look at who I am and what I do and what I'm about, I'm a guitar player. I'm a musician. What the hell do I know about politics? My music. You know what I like? I remember hearing. There was an interview with Alice Cooper once, who's one of my heroes, and all.
Hmm. Hmm.
And they asked him, it's like, well, who are you voting for? And in this particular interview, he's like, why does it matter? I'm a rock star. I'm not, what do I know about politics? It's like, yeah, I'm called elected, but listen to the lyrics, man. It's not about picking a party. Like, As far as politics go, I like to think that a lot of people think they have a really strong understanding of the inner workings of how these machines work. But, in my experience with this, we all have opinions on it, but I don't think any of us actually see the full picture of what we're actually talking about. So for me, I don't even get involved. It's like, I
No.
don't know, have a view on this. It's like, if you want to talk about whatever, strings or a new song you heard or a new band or something, sure. Like, I'm all in.
Yeah,
I don't
exactly, right?
matter to be honest.
um, Craig, question for you.
Yeah.
If someone were to send you a cameo or whatever of someone, who would you hope it would be?
Oh man, I don't know.
It's
Usually
a
I end
good
up
question.
taking drum lessons with my favorite drummers because they take my money. So
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, that's what I do. Yeah, I don't know. Probably be like a Thomas Lang, David Garibaldi, or Dave Weckl. Those are kind of
Hmm.
my people you probably never heard of, or Chris
Well,
Studio, or yeah, it's not
isn't that
Tommy Lee's.
no?
It's not the typicals. It's the in behind guys. But
Who are some groups you listened to growing up? I mean, you had touched on earlier. You weren't really like you'd listen to Ozzy or whatever, but who are some groups you were really into?
let's see, like Pearl Jam was pretty big as far as the
Yep.
alternative. Um, Tower of Power was pretty big. So that's your funk fusion stuff, right?
There you go. Yeah.
Trying to think of the list. I'm horrible with names and bands, but yeah, I don't know. Um, Soundgarden, to yeah,
Lots of good ones. I mean, Tower of Power. I only heard of. This is so bad. Only in the last few years, my brother-in-law is actually really into them. He's really big into like the funk jazz type thing. But yeah, I had this band with him and another guy, and they were like obsessing over Tower of Power. I'm like, who are these guys? So I listened. Yeah, really good stuff, right?
yeah, yeah. I'd be like I'd listen to Metallica, and then I'd go to Tower of Power, and then I'd jump
Yeah.
over the song Jupiter, a big symphony tune that's rips, and then jump over to like '90s dance. So get like a bit of everything. Yeah, there was nothing really specific that was like I just like worship this band or something. It was like a bit of everything. So
See,
yeah,
but
Do you?
that's playing with you so good is that you got all these different influences. You're not just a one trick pony.
Yeah, I was gonna say, do you find that listening to different genres and being influenced maybe by different genres makes you I mean it's probably an obvious question, but it makes you a more rounded player in
oh yeah,
general.
definitely. Like you think of like John Bonham, and like he studied jazz for how long, right?
Yeah.
So that comes out in his rock, or every sort of player like that. Their influence wasn't necessarily their style, but it'll add that swing and add that tension release. I said that before, just different feels. Yeah, just
Mm,
it helps you create your own identity as a musician. I think so you don't sound like everybody else, or try not to. Kind of have that uniqueness if you have all this different, training from over the years. Different,
yeah.
yeah, like we're
Awesome.
different style wise, but it still works, right? It's like, yeah, not quite different, but there's difference.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And you know what? And it I find that there's so many great bands that come about that way. Because I mean you never know what you're gonna get. You could write a song that's completely not a Matt Corey song, but you could make it a Matt Corey song.
Like Matt will set a song over, and he'll want this feel, and I'll give him something totally different, like just something like what was that? But that's what I'm hearing at that moment versus he's not. That's where I'm coming from. He's not. So then he can axe it if he wants. It doesn't matter. But it's kind of neat just to go down those rabbit holes and do something a little bit different.
See,
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
so when it comes to like I yeah, and I'd love to hear how you do this, Joel. Is that like when you're a band and you're opening up that door to collaborate with somebody, it can be the best experience ever, or it can be the absolute worst, and I've been on both sides of it. Now, like, and with what Craig was mentioning about how, yeah, like changing the feel and the vibe altogether. I got to tell a little story about this. This is great. So,
Hmm.
like I mentioned on the upcoming album, we've got three instrumentals, right? Two of them are like, well, they're all, in my opinion, quite different. One of them is a quiet sort of 2 minute acoustic thing. There's another one that is it's very atmospheric in a way, like there's not a lot of lead guitar work on it, and each instrument sort of shines in its own way in the song, and it sounds empty, like it sounds like there should be a vocalist on it, but I purposely left it that way because it sort of creates this sort of like atmosphere, I guess, when you listen to it.
Hmm.
But anyway, the third instrumental song was this song that I wrote, and it was in 12/8, I think, if I remember correctly. And it was like, at the time we had just kind of started playing together, and it was like, hey, give me some songs to play drums on. And I was like, oh, okay, here you go, here's these 12/8 and all these goofy time signatures. And what was so cool is I would give a version of the track with sort of a dummy track, like drum track on it, and then I would give a version with no drums at all. And then I found out later that he didn't listen to what I had on there originally. And what ended up happening instead was Craig managed to turn one of these songs. He changed the time signature on it and turned it into something completely different. Now, man, I don't know, like that's insane. That's freaking nuts. Like I was like, what? How did you get that? Like it's completely great, and it fits and it works, which is just absolutely mind-boggling to me. I have never seen a drummer ever do that in my life. And so the thing about with us, where if we do have different opinions on something, the difference from collaborating with other musicians in the past is that it goes back to what I said at the beginning, is that Craig, I know that your intention with this is to make it the best it can be and put your own spin on it. You're not serving yourself, you're serving the song. And that's why it's like, if you're gonna like put your own spin, it's like, sure, okay, there's certain things I'm a little picky about, but for the most part, it's that I know like where Craig is coming from with the music, and it's to make the music the best it can be. And sometimes, I'll listen to a song, and I don't know if I've ever said this, but some days I'm like, nah, what did he do? That's not what I wanted. Wait, I got to sit with this for a few days and let it settle, and then I'll listen to what I had, and then what Craig added, and then I go, ooh, damn it, he was right again.
That's amazing. I love hearing that. That's great. And and like I said, some of the best things happen in those ways too, right? I mean, uh my band example, it our songs usually start with Eric, right?
Okay, yeah,
For the Eric, our vocalist. He usually comes in and he doesn't play with a pick. Everything's kind of finger picked, right? It's very folky. And then we just kind of like, turn it up a little bit.
yeah,
And it's funny with songs like that turn out different ways, right? And I don't know if you know our song "Witching Hour."
yeah.
It's on our EP there, but that song is one where I've told this story a few times. With we came into practice, and I was with another band. Well, me and our bass player were with another band, and at the end of one practice, I started playing this riff that goes through most of that song, and I was just noodling around while we were packing up, and then we get to this Valley Narrow practice in this very room actually that I'm in, um, and Eric comes in. He says, "I got this riff that I wrote." I'm like, "Oh, okay, go." So he starts playing it, and me and Desi kind of look, and we're like, "What the hell?" Like I'm like, "Well, let me show you what I was playing the other night." There was a very small variation of it, but it was basically the same thing, and then we wrote it that way. But I mean, most of those songs are him bringing something to us that could just very well be just a singer songwriter folk song, and then we just crafted around that. But there's a few that have come in one way, and by the time they're done, it's completely different. We have our newest song, I forget what it's called, "Things I Would Do." It started off as a very slow song. We'd played it live like once or twice, very slow picking, like A and C, I don't know, something like that. And and then one day we just went back to the drawing board with it and we're like, let's just turn everything up a little bit. And now it's like our heavy song, you
Nice.
know. But it's just one of those, right? And it's probably our fan favorite right now. So anyway, I think we got to record it at some point. But yeah, I love hearing how people write songs and how you can bring one thing and then someone will just kind of spin it a little bit on you and I mean this the story about the drums, how you do the drum track and then without the track. I get it. You know, there's you see videos of like the drummer from Megadeth hears Mr. Brightside for the first time and like puts his own thing on it, right? And those videos are always cool to see what they come up with. But I mean, Craig, if you weren't listening to it in the first place, it was yours to begin with. That's that's awesome.
Some
Um, no, go ahead.
yeah, some artists want things like bang on, and some will say just go for it. So it's yeah, this with this it's whatever. Yeah, so it's a bit of
Yeah,
both.
it's
Yeah.
awesome. Guys, who are Matt, you know how this goes. Who are some local bands you've been digging lately?
Hmm. We recently did a show with Rock Hut and Exomerida, and both bands were tremendous. They were so good. It was such a good experience. We did one show in Brandon at the 40, and then we did the other show in Winnipeg at the Tap House. And both bands absolutely brought it. It was fantastic. Like Regan and Rocket, they're great folks, super easy to work with. Super passionate, super into it, which is fantastic to see. No ego, no bullshit, no nonsense, no drama, none of that crap. But Exo Merida, to me, they absolutely blew me away. They were tremendous. Those guys, I actually we were kind of in the little backstage area at the Tap House, and I was talking with them, and I said, boys, like, you guys are like my favorite Winnipeg band for sure. Like, it's not even close. Like, and I'm not like everybody's doing their own thing and their own
I
style
don't
else. But that band to me, they the power trio thing, the with the drummer singing, you know, it's
know.
real, dude. Like I thought they were unreal. I thought they were so,
Yeah,
and
they just turn everything on its head. It's it's crazy
yeah,
to
absolutely
get that sound out of a three piece
right.
is is wild. They uh they did my festival last year. They did Summerfest. They were second last, I think second or third last band, and my God, it was just like yeah, it was a whole thing. And I talked to Rocket when they were in Winnipeg here. They were on the podcast. And yeah, they said great things. But that's another band too, Rocket. Um Regan's been in the chat a few times. She said, "Pump for you to rip up RFM. Had so much fun. Let's do it again." Exo Merit is insane. I mean, Regan is they're great. They're a fantastic live band. And Regan, I now that I know you're watching, me and we are cooking something up, me and her. We are cooking up something, and I wish I could just post it and say what it is, but we're gonna make everyone wait. And yeah, she's a phenomenal vocalist.
Mm-hmm.
That whole band is just phenomenal. I mean, what a treat to have Matt, Cory, Exomerida, and Rock Cut all in a show together. My
Yeah,
God.
it was such a great experience, and it just, I mean, I'm pretty sure I told everybody after. I was like, you guys want to do this again? Like, sure, let's go and do it because it was so easy. And when you're dealing with lots of people and different personalities and all that stuff, you never know. And the song orders and money and all that stuff, and things can get really ugly in a hurry. And
Hmm.
working with both bands was an absolute pleasure. And
Yeah.
I would work with them again. Actually, I got to mention this, Joel, because one of the things that we're planning on doing in the near future here is we're going to be doing another video with Trav and with Chris as well. And it's been so exciting because our last video that we did, Let's Go Downtown, was really strange, and I made it that way on purpose, you know, with the little alien walking around and following the couple and stuff. And that was the whole point of that. And for a while, I've been trying to come up with another concept that could play off what was already sort of written in the Let's Go Downtown video. And so Trav and I have been kind of going back and forth with Chris and discussing concepts, and it's pretty ridiculous. I kind of look at it as like a sequel to to Let's Go Downtown, but on a much grander scale. So once the snow melts and you know, we're gonna start shooting some of this stuff outside, and there's gonna be aliens and robots and freaks and mimes and clowns and stuff. It's gonna be excellent. I can't.
Unbelievable. That's so cool. My random question for you today. This is, well, it goes to both of you, of course. What give me a couple. I'm not gonna put you down to one, and then we're gonna talk about the guitar stuff for a minute here because I got a new pedal board and I want to talk to someone about it.
All right, well, the truth is out.
Tell me and name a couple. What if you? Well, Matt, this is easy. Being a guitar instructor, you take in a student, and you have to say, these are like 3 albums to listen to. These are some of the most influential albums to get into music, to want to play. What would it be? Same goes for you, Craig.
Oh boy. Okay. Well, I'll go first. I think. So, you know, honestly, like I'll tell you what I think they are, and then you know, to answer that question, especially in like a teacher student type setting, you know, a lot of it really depends on what the student likes. So let's just say they really like like thrash metal, whatever. Let's say thrash metal for example.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I might mention Master of Puppets, Rain and Blood, Rust in Peace. You know, I might mention those. But if they're into something completely different, you know, I might suggest something else. Now, for me, what I consider to be sort like essential guitar albums kind of thing is what you're saying, yeah?
Yeah.
For me, like the first G3 album, Steve Vai, Joe and Eric Johnson, that was one that got me into playing guitar. Van Halen 1. You know, man, I got to show one of my students who's like 10. I got to show him Eruption for the first time. And I said, watch this, man. You're gonna like, and I told the kid, I said, this is from almost 50 years ago. And you know, of course, when the tapping thing starts, he's like,
Mm-hmm.
right? So, you know, that one I would definitely say. And then as a third one, well, because I'm on such a huge King Crimson kick, I mean, you got to mention Robert Fripp in there, man. That guy is one of the most off the wall, innovative, creative guitarists I've ever seen. There's nothing like him out there. He's, to me, you know, he's like Jeff Beck, where he's uncopyable. You can't replicate what that guy does because it's just so crazy and out there. So, you know, if I was gonna say for King Crimson, I'd probably say probably Lark's Tongues and Aspic, which is it's a pretty crazy prog album. But I mean, as far as pushing the boundaries to what music can be, honestly, in my opinion, in some ways, it kind of should be. You know, why are we constantly pumping really dumbed down stuff? I mean, I think that as musicians, we should be trying to, you know, go places we haven't gone before, especially with the tools that we have at our disposal now. And I'm not referring to AI. I'm just talking about home studios.
Yeah.
You know, but those would probably be my 3.
Awesome.
Man,
Craig, you've had a few minutes to think about it now.
Such a hard question because again, like my view of music is everything and anything. So I taught drums years ago, and yeah, again, it's same sort of thing. It's like you you listen to them drum and listen to their personality and who they are, and then you might throw some artists at that, whoever that might be.
Hmm.
Even myself, I still take lessons to this day. I'm, you know, I've taken lessons, same sort of thing. I'm going down all these different paths with total different genres and things. So I've taken with Steve Gould, who's played with Sarah Bareilles, he toured with her, to like Jared Neal with Ben Rector. So a lot of singer songwriter, and now did like Nate Morton. So he was the drummer of The Voice for 20 years, still is. Played with Shaka Khan. Now I'm with Justin Scott. He's kind of very linear, fast.
Hmm.
So each person has a total different concept. One will teach pendulum, just very simple. Make it creating a beat to make someone's head bop. That's all. That's your job. And then the next one's on like licks. So yeah, it's hard. It's hard to pick. Like I'm one of those guys. I can't throw like 5 albums at you. It's that weird, I guess. But yeah.
Hey, you know what? Sometimes it's hard to answer a question because there's just so much influence out there, right?
Well, Joel, what are yours?
Oh God, I don't know. You know what? I can probably do this.
Are you looking around the room
Yeah.
for posters on the
Well,
wall?
yeah, I looked around the room and I'm like, Jesus, it's all local bands. You know what? I think one that would really stand out for me would probably be I'm going towards Pink Floyd, but I'm trying not to make it obvious. I think the Animals album is a
Good,
big one.
good call. I was hoping you were going to say animals.
I think Animals, it is my favorite Floyd album, but I think like the long songs of it, I think it's like Dogs. I find Dogs like there's a restraint in a lot of the songs, right? Where like David Gilmour, and this is always the thing, is David Gilmour is not a fast player, but I think he could be. I think it's there. He makes every note really count though, right? Like you could sing his solos, I guess is where I'm trying to go with it, right? And speed, you got to respect the speed guys. You mentioned the G3, right? You got to respect the speed guys, but there's something where when someone just plays with that, just that soul, that like passion where when you hear it, you know who it is, right?
100%.
And that's how I feel with animals. It's like you can go through the wall, you go through Dark Side of the Moon. I mean, amazing. But I find that animals is the one where you can really dial in that what David Gilmour was doing.
Oh, 100%. It goes back to what I was talking about of being able to serve the song. You know,
Mm,
Gilmore understands this better than anybody of playing stuff that isn't going to step on anybody else's toes. And, like another one of their albums that I really love is the Division Bell, man.
oh
That
yeah,
Division Bell is outstanding. And that's one, man, I probably found that at like Value Village for like $2.
yeah.
It's an interesting album to me because like songs like Coming Back to Life or High Hopes, listen to the guitar solo in High Hopes. Like
Oh
it's like I feel like I'm watching Lord of the Rings or something,
yeah,
man.
exactly.
An
You,
epic.
you think he's gonna run out of fret at one point? It's you know what, that is such a good one. I'm trying to think. I'm gonna throw an absolute crazy one at you because the guitar theatrics I will say in it aren't there, but I would say, and you might not know them, but Performance and Cocktails from Stereophonics.
Oh,
And
okay.
the only reason I go there is this is a band that were winning like MTV Music Awards when I would watch the award show when I was, like whatever, early 20s teenager, right? They'd always win. I'd be like, oh, not this friggin' band again, right? And then it took me, I was on YouTube one day and I saw they did a cover of, and they're British, right? Well, Wales, right? And they did a cover of Positively 4th Street from Bob Dylan. And I'm like, oh, this is a cool cover. And then I was like, oh, this whole album has like extra songs and they're all covers. One was a Neil Young cover, of the old Laughing Lady, and then one was Fiddler's Green from Tragic Ape. I'm like, who is this band from Wales doing these covers of our Canadian boys, right? And then I got into this band, and man, I was like, I remember trashing this band like a few years ago, right? But I got so into them. And then you start deep diving into the albums, and that album, that's the one that had the extra songs, is the cover songs. And I was like, oh, this is a great cover band. They're doing these great covers. But then I just dove into it, and I absolutely love the guitar playing. And then last March, actually, I think it was like this week, last year, I went to Toronto and saw them and soundcheck. Got early access soundcheck right up against the stage. They did 6 songs for 50 of us, right? They played Massey Hall, which is iconic, and just that's a band that really turned a lot of things. And like I say, it's not like guitar, theatrics and stuff, but it's just crafting a song and writing a story to music.
100%.
And I think and that's like me. I'm not one to rip these solos. I mean, I got a couple things with Valley Narrow, but I'm not one to be a solo guy. I'm a rhythm player is what I am. And but I develop a lot of that from British bands, right? And man, if I had to name a third, I don't know. But Third Eye Blind,
Hmm.
self-titled out their first album. Yeah.
Interesting. Really?
Once again, that's another band that's been big with me my whole life since 97, so I was 13. You can all do the math on that. But that's a band that album, I still listen to it today, and I'm absolutely floored by just some of the guitar work. And it's funny, I've always been very, like, I've played a couple of cover bands, but I refuse to do a Third Eye Blind song because I don't feel we'll do it justice. And that's part of loving your
That's
favorite bands, right? That's why, like, for you to go and do Take a Picture from Filter, I'm like, he must be doing good, because if you really love a band and you go do their song, you want to make sure you're doing it the best you can, right?
100%. That's so funny you mentioned that because I'm a diehard Alice Cooper freak, right? I love everything. But honestly, like I barely know how to play any of the songs because I don't want to know. I don't want to know the mystery behind it because it might end up being really bonehead simple or something, and I don't want to. I don't want to. Like, there's different types of listening, right? Like, there's getting into the song and kind of going along for the ride and stuff, and then there's those songs or that other type of listening where you're analyzing, right? And
Hmm.
it, very rarely will I ever sit down and play an Alice Cooper song. And there's been a few over the years, of course, but like not very many compared to some of the other ones. Like in the past, I'll get into a band and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna dive into their discography and see if I can learn any of their stuff. And for now, like lately, that's been the King Crimson stuff and
Hmm.
Crazy Tune. Just seeing if I can play anything that Fripp has done, which is
Exactly. Eh?
and but yeah, no, there's something to be said about like just listening to the music and appreciating it without having to analyze everything. But on the other hand of that, there is this thing, and I actually heard Phil Anselmo talking about this from Pantera. There was an interview where the question was something along the lines of, "How did you come up with Pantera's sound?" or something like that.
Hmm.
And if you know their history, that from where they started in the '80s to where they were in the '90s is quite
Yeah, yeah,
quite different, right?
yeah.
Phil Anselmo absolutely nailed it, and I appreciate what he said because for a guy being at that level, there is he could have said almost anything, right? And they would have been like, "Oh yeah, okay," But what he actually said was, he's like, "Well, we just took all of our influences," and he starts naming them in the interview, and I can't remember exactly who they all were, but it's like, yeah, we took a little bit from Kiss, we took a little bit from Deep Purple. Dimebag was a Satriani guy, and we just mushed it all together and made this soup that sounds like Pantera. And when I write music, like absolutely, like I do the same thing where it's like, hell yeah, this is my song that sounds like Filter and Saliva mixed with Ozzy Osbourne from the Osmosis album with
Oh,
Stuart Copeland style drums in the background. Here you go, Craig.
exactly. Back over Osmosis is a solid album.
Right? I
That's
love that album.
amazing.
So good, man. That's my
It's
favorite
so
Ozzy
good.
album. I love it. People often make fun of it or forget about it, but that's my fave.
I'm gonna call this person. Well, I won't say the name, but I just got a text from a person. They're like, "Man, that's a long episode you got." I'm like, "Well, yeah, it's Matt Cory. This is what happens,
I
Matt.
just shut up.
I got a few minutes left with you. I'm gonna hold you for a few minutes. I gotta tell you about my new pedal board because I know you appreciate a good rig rundown here.
Let's go.
So I was very basic before. I had like a Boss Super Overdrive. That was my main gig, right? I've always had my MXR carbon copy,
Oh, beautiful.
but but I have upgraded. I now have a Rev G3, the purple one, and I'll tell you quick where I got that from. I saw a guitarist play with Matt Dara, Joe Carson, their band Deadlight. This Mark Barron, and
Yeah.
he had this crazy tone. I'm like, what is this? What is this? So anyway, um, I started watching a couple of videos. He's got like instructional videos and him just kind of playing. And he mentioned a Rev G3. And I started looking into this and I'm like, oh my God. And I tell you right now, I had a Tonex, like just a modeler, and I probably could have spent 100 years dialing that thing in to get this tone that I have out of this thing, but it is a monster sound. That going into my MXR, but my new favorite pedal, I got a Boss Slicer. Have you seen these things?
I don't think I have.
Oh my God.
I don't even know what's happening anymore in pedal world. But what
You
does a
might have you might have to check it. It like cuts the signal, but it's just watch like a Boss Slicer, like even just a 50-second video, and you'll be like, that thing is just dialed in. It's so cool. And I've got this new project with Emily and the Moon that we're debuting next week, and I get to use it in that band, and I'm so excited. And it's like first song I get to use it. But I have built myself a little board, and I'm so happy. But this Rev G3, do you know Gareth McNichol?
Yep.
He's in the band Heartsleeve.
Yep.
Me and him have been filling in with his band Toy Sun. We did a couple of gigs with them, and the last one, I'm like, well, let's just use my amp. I have my Fender Princeton, and I'm like, let's just use my amp and board. I'll leave you my board for a night. You can play with it. And yeah, I got to the gig, and he brought the board. And he's like, what is that Rev G3 thing? And I'm like, oh no, dude, it's wild. But
That's
just a huge tone. But yeah, I
Rev.
still.
Rev, man. Like actually, like in my like, because I have the Helix, right? That's what my tone is built off of is a Rev tone, man, and it's friggin' great. The other thing I want to mention too, Mark Barron, dude, that guy's a monster, man.
Is
Seriously,
it crazy?
yeah, man. Like big shout out to that guy because I came across his name somewhere where I didn't expect to come across his name, and I actually
Mm-hmm.
messaged, "Hey, man, like, are you like, is that guy in that video talking about you?" And he's like, "Yeah, man, that's me." And it was like a guitar instructional type thing, and
He's nuts.
yeah, great play. All the Godan stuff that he plays, man. I played lots of Godan guitars in my day, and they're great, man. And he's a phenomenal player. But yeah, and Rev too, dude. Like, and they're a Winnipeg based company, if I'm
Yeah.
right. Honestly, man, I got to tell you, with Rev, like I've played lots of different amps. I used to work in a music store. I've screwed around with all kinds of stuff, man. And to me, Rev gets it where it's heavy, but it's like there's like a smooth kind of creaminess to it that
Yeah.
and a lot of like for me anyway, in my ears, there's a lot of like high gain amps that kind of miss that. You get the whole Angry Bees thing, whereas
Mhm.
doesn't do that. Rev is on they for what I like kind of that kind of dark smooth thing. Oh man, Rev nails that, man. I would love to dive into more of their stuff because I
Oh
haven't
yeah.
like.
It's so good. Um yeah. What a night, guys. You got the you're holding the longest podcast of 2026 so far. That's great.
Hell yeah, man.
um, Matt, it's always a pleasure having you on here. We'll definitely catch up again. I mean, I got to do guitar night again, and as we're getting more people that we know that are guitar guys, we'll get Mark Barron on the show with you.
That'd be sweet,
Yeah,
man.
would that be something? We're gonna do it. We're gonna do another guitar night, coming up in the next couple months. So you'll definitely be back on. But I always love having you on here. You and me, I know after that first one, we could have. I mean, that one could have went 3 hours that night.
Right?
And one of my favorite conversations I've had with someone in our local scene, and this is funny because it wasn't even anything about local scene. Was I remember driving down to, I think I was going to a Third Eye Blind show, and we were talking. I was going to Minneapolis, and Smashing Pumpkins had released that
Oh
really
yeah.
obscure album, and
Yep.
that was one of my favorite conversations. Was talking to you about how great this was, and I'm like, me and this guy, we like the same things.
Hell yeah. Dude, I love geeking out about albums, man. Like,
Oh,
it,
so
it's
fun.
it's my favorite, man. I could go on and on and on and on and on. It's the best, and like especially like with the Pumpkins too, man. Their discography is so big, and one of my favorite things about the Pumpkins, and I'm really I'm I'm kind of thinking I'm gonna start doing this is that with the Pumpkins, you've got their really heavy stuff, right? That's like all over the place, right? And then you've got these really quiet, sweet kind of, songs that you could almost like fall asleep to. You know what I mean? Like, or at least I could. I don't know what that says about. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I just mean they're very mellow and whatever. And my favorite artists are those guys that can go and make a song that makes you want to punch somebody's skull in, and then they can turn around and write a song that you can sing to your grandma.
Yeah, I think you know my my thoughts on that. I'm sorry, I'm just pulling it up here because I actually gotta bring it up. Um, I mean, one of my favorite songs of all time is actually 33 from Pumpkins, but if we go to disc two on Melancholy, 33 and In the Arms of Sleep, I have probably fallen asleep more times than I can count to that combination of songs back to back.
Oh yeah, man.
But I mean, you're right. You're coming off. If we go to that album, you're coming off Bodies into 33 into the Arms of Sleep, and then 1979, and then from there it's kind of a banger for a bit. But I mean, you go from smashing someone's skull in with Bodies to 33, and
Yeah.
it's like this is beautiful. I'm going to bed now, right? So
Well, I also think too that like when you're like, and I mean, there's nothing wrong with the bands that do what they do really well and deliver every time. Your ACDCs and Motorheads and whatever,
Mhm.
they give you what you want, and that's it. But I just like when you get to see these different layers of the artists, and it really shows you sometimes. I feel like it gives you a deeper glimpse into the psyche of who some of these people are. Because to me, and I don't know, tell me if I'm being crazy here, but I feel that like you can feel it when they take a risk on something that's kind of ridiculous, like like where like I don't know. The example I love to use is Risk by Megadeth, right? Like it's called Risk. That's hilarious. And it was a risk, and it was totally out there and different for what they do typically. And when you see these bands like stray away from the thing that they've kind of been come to be known as, that's when I find them to be the most interesting. Is because now you're actually seeing an artist explore new territory instead of just churning out the same thing again and again and again. And sometimes that's okay. It depends on the artist, but but I like the guys that are all over the place and very versatile.
Exactly. And you know what? With you saying Risk there, this is where I lose my thrash metal fans. Metallica or Megadeth was here a couple weeks ago,
Yep.
and I'm like, oh, I got to check up their set list, see what they did. And I look at it, I'm like, oh, okay, they appeal to the fans. They're going out appeal to the fans.
Yep.
My favorite Megadeth song, and any thrash people watching, please do not unfollow my page after this. My favorite Megadeth song is Breadline from Risk.
No way, eh?
Unbelievable. It's so
That's
funny you mentioned
amazing.
Risk.
That's
So
that's
I
that's
actually
just
looked
me when I
back and
was
like on like Setlist FM or whatever. I went back to see when they did anything off Risk, and they were doing like Prince of Darkness and Crush 'em a couple times, but it was years. Like I'm talking 20 years ago they were doing this, right? And I was like, oh man,
yeah.
Breadline, unbelievable.
Oh,
Matt, I'm gonna give you the final word here as I always do. Matt and Craig, of course, final word. Um, say what you need to say, and we'll call it a night so these wonderful viewers can get to bed.
yeah. Well, first, I just want to say thank you so much to having us on tonight. It's always a pleasure, Joel, and thank you to whoever has actually sat through this entire thing. And I'm sorry if I talked your ear off. I'm kind of known to do that, but I don't know. I just got a lot to say.
Yeah, it's not my fault that the podcast went this long.
You know what? I told people before that, I'm like, I actually said to you, you're gonna want to tune into this when these go off the rails sometime. Um, but I told some people, I'm like, it's gonna go long tonight because it always does with me and Matt. But anyway, I won't interrupt you.
No, it's all good, man. I just want to say thank you. I'm so glad and proud and excited to see of all the stuff you're doing. I'm really excited to see what Manitoba music as a whole has to offer this year. And I mean, I'm always looking at kind of the up and coming bands that are sort of starting in Brandon and my students and everything else that are getting to that point where they can start to play gigs and stuff. I'm always tuning in to check in and see what bands are releasing for new material, and it's always very fascinating to see what everybody has to say. And I just hope everybody just keeps doing what they're doing, and we keep coming together. That to me, I can't stress that enough. And everything that you're doing, Joel, like Travis sees. Yes, I do blab on the phone way too much, by the way. um, with everything that Trav is doing, with working with all these different bands, and geez, it almost feels like working with Trav is almost like that stamp of approval, much like being on this show. If I do, so yeah, man, we're really excited for what's coming up. This new album, chances are, is probably going to be out in June, I'm thinking. And yeah, we're hoping to do some really big shows and play lots and have a very tight show that is unlike anything that anybody has ever seen us do before in terms of the quality and the delivery of the music.
Awesome, Craig. You got anything to say?
Nope. Good night.
Awesome. Thanks for jumping on, both of you. Anyone holding on out there or watching this later, tune in Sunday night. Man, I'm spoiled. I had Matt Cory on a Thursday, and on Sunday night I got Women of Manitoba Music Night. I got damn near 20 amazing artists, people just doing everything in music in Manitoba, rolling through the show. There's like 20 of us. It's gonna be a great night. We're talking to everyone that night. So tune in Sunday night. It's gonna be about 3 hours long. I mean, Matt, we could probably do 3 hours ourselves, but but you know what? Have a great night. All the best moving forward. Craig, nice to meet you. All the best moving forward with everything. You're driven. I love seeing all the positive vibes coming out of you. And good luck with RFM. I'll talk to you before then anyway. But yeah, great big year coming from Matt Cory in the camp today.
We're excited, man. Thanks for everything, Joel, and
Right
we'll
on, pal.
yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, we'll catch you later.
All right, man.